Who will be the 10 seed in the West? Dallas, Phoenix, or Portland? Now, I'm going to vote Phoenix. Phoenix is still my vote.
Let me look at Phoenix's schedule because I feel like
Phoenix has a relatively difficult schedule. I looked this up yesterday because I was curious. Dallas lost again. They've lost 3 in a row. They've lost 10 out of 12.
10 out of 12.
Your point of them forfeiting games, like that's not going to happen, but they legitimately have like 8 active
They don't
players.
have a
like
ton
they
of
don't
active
have any,
dudes,
and
yeah.
they just had who was it? Dante Exum broke his hand, I believe, last week. Like he's out for the rest of the year. The basketball gods have never punished a team more than they have punished the Dallas Mavericks for trading Luka Doncic in his prime.
Well, we passed up Michael Jordan. How's that worked out? So,
We've been paying for it for 25, 35 years.
Phoenix has Toronto, which, I think Toronto will eventually try to lose that game.
They will.
Chicago's not very good.
Nope.
And then Cleveland, Milwaukee are playing. Well, Cleveland's just playing for. They had a bad loss yesterday with no Mobley against Orlando.
Lost to Orlando.
Milwaukee's trying to keep ground with where they're at. They had a tough loss last night.
They're trying to hold on to a home court advantage in the first round.
And then Boston at red-hot Minnesota, who Ant Edwards loves to go against his guy, KD. And then a 2-seeded Houston Rocket team that is looking to stay at the top of the West.
Yep.
At Milwaukee, at Boston, at New York.
It's a challenging schedule.
Golden State, Oklahoma City. Their last two are San Antonio and Sacramento. Their schedule's not easy either.
I will remind people, too, that if the Blazers make the playoffs this year, now not the play-in, the playoffs. They'd have to win the play-in to get into the playoffs. They lose their first-round pick. Just wanted a fresh reminder for everybody out there.
But hey,
if you are in the playoffs, you lose your first-round pick this year.
Yeah, but even if you get the 10 seed.
You're not getting a good draft pick this year because you're,
Look, you get in the top 5. All of this was great.
All of it's great. All of it's a wonderful,
Absolutely.
Look at that. Couldn't have been more
Scoot
wrong.
Took a step. Shaden had some moments coming off the bench. Tamani had a great year. And Denny reminds everybody every day, hey, what a great contract.
Hey, do you know he's got a good contract?
I heard that. There's good things to point to from the season. But also, if you don't get a top 5 pick, I don't understand what it was for.
Yeah, I mean, this is just we've done this so many times. Detroit has climbed out of the gutter this year.
Yeah, well, they're an exception with a certain player.
Who's the face of their franchise?
Yeah.
Where was he drafted?
Yeah.
The Spurs have a very bright future. Who's the face of their franchise?
Yeah.
Where was he drafted?
Yeah.
They
just got Fox.
Jalen Green is the number 2, or Houston is the number 2 seed.
Mm-hmm.
It was their star player. Where was he drafted? You just go up and down the list of guys. This is how you get out of purgatory. We're not Miami. We can make fun of Miami for having a worse record or the same record as us
also
this
got
year.
One of the best coaches in the league.
They did. But Miami can sign free agents. We don't sign free agents. That doesn't happen for us. So we have 2 ways of acquiring a star. It's through trade, which will never happen, and through the draft, which will happen, but you need to get a good draft pick or win the lottery. And so we'll see how it all works out for him. But
their schedule's so tough going forward, though.
It is.
The next few games.
So everybody has 4. If my math is correct, Dallas, Phoenix, and Portland all have 14 games remaining. So you are 3.5 back of Dallas. Let's play it out in the 14 games that Dallas goes 4-10.
That's a win. That's a loss.
Okay, 4-10. Can you go 8-6 in your last 14 games? Because that's what you'd have to do. If they go 3-11, which they might, because they're terrible right now.
I don't. Do you think Portland's
can you go
go
7-7,
8-6 in their last 14?
I don't know if they will. I also don't know if they'll need to do that. What if Dallas goes 2-12 in their 2-14 in their last 16
games? I actually think the more interesting conversation
is
how closely the league's going to continue to follow tanking.
Yes, they even called up the Oklahoma City Thunder the other day and said, wait a minute, why are you sitting all your guys at the same time?
That was wild.
Very weird.
Really?
Of all the teams you could go after, that's the one you do, who's 56-12 this year.
If you're going to do that to Oklahoma City, you need to do that to Toronto yesterday.
You need to do that to Utah, to New Orleans.
Utah already they got fined.
Yeah, Washington.
I think the league is in a position right now where they know, like Washington's tanking because of the way they built their team. Charlotte sucks.
Bad.
Toronto purposely, I don't know 100% if they win that game because who cares about what percentages say at a certain point. But the way I saw it playing out was Toronto wins that game if they don't pull their big man.
They subbed out a good player with 5 minutes to go in the game and a 6-point lead, and he never returned.
Real reason.
For no reason. He never returned, and he was having a good game.
So, the league is really eyeing this stuff, this tanking business. And so, in a way, I wonder, 1, did they look at Toronto yesterday? But 2, going forward, Portland's not in their customary spot of, sit the guys.
The water has not been shut off.
Not at all in any way. And so, Ant is not injured.
No, he hit 6 threes, a lot of big threes late in the game.
He did. He was really good yesterday. I think Denny has no injury situation. Tamani has no injury situation. Your centers haven't played I don't even remember the last game Ayton played. I'm just forgetting that. But,
it's been a while.
that hasn't mattered all that much. And again, they were on a little bit of a losing streak there
when the schedule ratcheted up, but they got some winnable games remaining.
They play Washington. They should be able to win that game. And then the schedule looks really tough from there. It's Memphis, it's Denver, it's Cleveland, it's Boston. And then after that, you got a couple patsies in there, and I think Sacramento's in there as well.
You got a road trip to Sacramento, New York, Atlanta, Toronto, Chicago. So Toronto's a winnable game. Atlanta's a winnable game. Chicago's a winnable game. You got San Antonio left at home. You got Utah left on that schedule. That's a winnable game. And then the last two are Golden State and L.A. And what are Golden State and L.A. playing for in the final two games of the regular season? Are they playing anybody?
But then even if you play that math, and yeah, you're right, everything could be sealed up at that point. Even if you play that math, if they go 6-8 in their last 14 or 5-9.
If you go 5-9, you're likely not going to get it. You would need Dallas to go 1-12 or 1-13, which maybe is possible. But you also need Phoenix to collapse as well, and that you'd have to make up 3 games on Phoenix.
I'd argue Phoenix has collapsed.
They have. They're not a very good team, but they're
so bad.
It's not as over maybe as we thought it was when Portland was on that losing streak as of last week, because Dallas and Phoenix did not win any games in that stretch either. So Portland didn't lose any ground on the 10 seed, despite the fact that they went on a 5-game losing streak when they played legitimate opponents: Boston, Oklahoma City, Detroit, Golden State, and New York.
Maybe you didn't. Maybe you wanted Cooper Flagg, and now that doesn't work for you. Watch the Gonzaga-Georgia game, because Asa Newell might be a player that have to be your secondary Cooper Flagg.
He very well could be.